Hi, thanks for coming to the Summer Undergraduate Research Fellowship Information Session. I'd like to tell you a little bit about what our program entails, how to apply, and some little tips on how to have a successful application. But let's start with the host institution, the Pacific Islands Climate Adaptation Science Center. What is PICASC? Well, it's a mouthful, first of all, which is why we abbreviate it to PICASC. But PICASC is one of 9 climate adaptation science centers regional centers across the country. You'll notice that many of them are made up of several states. Alaska is just its own, but the Pacific Islands spans the entire Pacific. We may not be very many states, but we're a very big area. Each one of these CASCs is a partnership between the U.S. Geological Survey as a federal agency on one side and a university consortium on the other. For the PICASC, the universities involved are the University of Hawaii at Manoa, that's the lead host institution, and we work with consortium members, the University of Hawaii at Hilo and the University of Guam. This is just a list of all the various folks that are there. I'm Rachel Lentz, the communication specialist for PICASC, as well as the undergraduate research coordinator. So what is SURF? Well, SURF is a program that we have been running now. This is the 3rd year for it. And the idea is that we would like to provide promising undergraduates like yourselves a valuable research experience over the summer. And the idea is that will help improve your skills in climate science techniques and knowledge. It'll expand your knowledge about climate and environmental issues in both Hawaii and Guam, depending on where you are. And ultimately, we're involved in this because we want to help build workforce capacity to do climate science research and figure out climate adaptation across the entire Pacific region. So first, some details. Eligibility. Who is eligible to apply to the SURF program? Well, the idea is that it's open to all undergraduates. You have to be enrolled in either a UH system institution, 4-year or 2-year, or the University of Guam, or because we want to cater to local students, you may be attending another college, either on the mainland or elsewhere in the basin, but you were in high school in Hawaii or Guam. So the idea is that we want to educate and encourage local students in climate science so that you can then give back to your community later. Our expectations of those who are chosen for the SURF program are that they will work full-time, 40 hours a week, as close as possible anyway, for that 10-week time frame from June 6th to August 12th, that you will attend all of the events that we put on. There aren't that many of them. An opening orientation, a final symposium that all of the students present at, 10 to 15-minute presentation, and 2 workshops in the middle. We expect you to write up a brief summary, just a couple pages of what you've done over the summer, what you've accomplished, and what you hope to do with that moving forward, if anything has come from it. And in exchange, we will pay you a stipend of $6,000. So you will earn lots, both financially and for your character and your future. The application process is to send to me, rlentz@hawaii.edu, by 5 p.m. on February 18th. We would like you to submit a cover sheet just with your name, email address, phone number, so we can contact you, and 3 general areas of interest in climate science. And I'll get to more about that in a minute. You need a current resume, an unofficial college transcript. If you are a freshman, we would ask that you get an unofficial high school transcript instead, because that'll give us a little bit more information since you've only done 1 year. A 500-word essay, which I'll also talk about in a second, and a letter of recommendation. We should note that finalists for the program will be contacted to do a 30-minute interview over Zoom before we make our final decisions. So a little bit of detail on those. So the areas of interest that you give us are critical for us trying to match you up with a mentor that seems to be a good match. So on the application materials that you'll find at the website, there's a kind of list of different kinds of topics, but basically we just want you to tell us what are the areas that you're interested in. so that we can try and find somebody who will match what your interests are, whether it's something you've already done some work in or you've just noticed and you'd like to learn about. Either way, just give us a sense of that. The resume that you give us helps us understand what your past experiences are, whether you've had any past research experience or you've done projects in classes, whether you've done any conservation work or have learned any particular technical skills or participated in community activities like fish ponds or lo'i or anything like that. Any extracurriculars you've done. It just gives us a sense of who you are and what your experiences have been. Your transcript tells us about your academic background, what kinds of classes you've taken, whether you've been successful or not. Don't be stressed about a bad physics grade or something. We just want to know what your background is and what you can handle academically. Just gives us a sense of that. The recommendation letter is important because it gives us an outside perspective of your abilities. So it's important to choose a good person for that. And I'll get back to that again in a second. The essay is your chance to tell us a little bit more about you. So why are you interested in this particular program? What is it about climate science or climate adaptation that interests you? And it's important to tell us also how it relates to the path you're on or the path you want to be on. Why would this be a good fit for you? Especially if you have a major that's a little bit different than what might be expected for climate science. Just give us a sense of that. And it's also an opportunity for you to give us a sense of who you are, your personality, your humor, your quirks, whatever. Don't be totally casual, but give us a sense of who you are and why you want to do this, essentially. A couple extra tips. In terms of that letter writer, make sure that you choose somebody carefully. I know in this day, it's been a little bit weird because many classes have been remote, and so you may not have had the chance to have a real bond with a professor or anything like that. But it's important to find someone who knows you, because the better they know you, the more they can tell us about you. And we want to know what other people think of your abilities, basically. It's useful. Particularly if you have any research-related skills, it helps us understand how you would fit into a lab or a particular research project, because some may have certain requirements and others may have none. It's hard to know. So the more we can learn about what your abilities are, the better. So choose your recommender carefully. Please proofread your materials. I'm an editor, so I just don't like to see weird mistakes and things. So just proofread. Also, for my benefit, please be clear about what year in college you are. People are taking so many different paths these days that it's not always clear. If you're coming from a community college and you're now attending a four-year institution, what year do you think you are? Like, when do you anticipate graduating? Or if you anticipate having a couple years as a senior, let us know that. It just helps give us a sense of where you are in your path. If you have any further questions after today's presentation and question session, please feel free to email me, rlentz@hawaii.edu, and ask, and I will endeavor to answer anything you ask. For mentors who are interested, what we expect from them is that they are going to define the projects that they want a student to work on, and make sure that that is something that can be done in 10 weeks. We'd like to know how the student will be incorporated into their lab, like what they're actually going to be working on. We expect them to interact regularly with students to help oversee their progress, as well as the products that they're making, the presentation at the end and the written essay that's turned in. We expect them to attend the orientation and the final symposium as well. So if they could send us a short description of the project that they're interested in, as well as how that connects to climate adaptation science, we would appreciate that. And what the student will actually be working on. If it's a sort of a bigger project, what's their actual portion of it going to be? And they have the same deadline. So send to me by 5 p.m. February 18th. And that's it. So are there any questions? I would be happy to take them. Thanks very much.